What's up, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today we're going to do a little figure fix up, some part swapping with some DC Multiverse Superman figures. And you know, as most everyone agrees, that the Silver Age Superman here from McFarlane Toys is the best Superman that they've put out so far. Hopefully even more Superman figures are to come from McFarlane now that they have the perfect base body for Superman. But the one thing I didn't quite love about the Silver Age Superman is, like, I don't really like this combination of the light blue with the logo with the black outline. I kind of prefer something more like the Strange Lives Superman figure, which comes with a lion head and lion claws. But I prefer this more royal blue, darker royal blue with, you know, this the logo without the lines on it. Now, I know there's a figure that's just went up for pre-order, another mullet Superman that's a royal blue and does have the black outline on the Superman logo, which I kind of like it more with the darker blue. And there's also the Joker Rise Superman coming out that's the light blue with the logo how I prefer it. So, you know, if I get a chance to pick up those figures, what I'm going to do today will actually apply to those as well. Because what I'm going to do today, I'm going to get our Silver Age Superman in this costume. And essentially what we're going to do, we're going to be heating up these figures. I'm going to try to soften up that glue, and we're going to be swapping the necks here, and we're going to be swapping the wrist pegs, because unfortunately with all these Superman figures, I'll go ahead and pop off the lion head and put on the normal default head for this guy. Unfortunately, every Superman figure has a different skin tone, so you can't just do a head swap, because now the exposed neck is you know, not the right color either. So we're gonna have to, you know, maybe use a tool like this to get up under there, try to pry those pieces apart, and we're gonna be walking through that today, and we're gonna see how the finished product ends up looking like. And I'm excited to get this Superman with this body, and also this cape. I prefer this cape a lot better than this very short one. So we're gonna swap that over, and then the Strange Lives one will have this head, that shorter cape, and you know, maybe that'll be a good look as well. So I'm gonna go ahead, start heating up some water in my electric tea kettle, and we're gonna go ahead and get these guys soaking in the hot water, and we'll go from there. All right, I've had the body sitting in the hot water for a minute or so, and I already took the head and the hands off. So we'll start with the Strange Lives Superman, and we're gonna slowly see what will naturally come off. Now, this whole body's been heated, so the torso's gonna come off easily, but we need to start working that neck. And as we can see, it's starting to come up. So let me try to get up under it a little bit. Okay, so that's coming up pretty easy on the back side. Let's see if I can get it on the side and start working, yeah, towards the front here. Okay, it is, as you can see, it's starting to work its way. Now, I don't want to be too forceful and tear anything up. So, and once it's out in the cold air, you know, the plastic hardens up. So we're gonna go ahead and stick him back in the water. We'll bring out the Silver Age Superman. We'll see how well that neck is coming apart. So, yep, it's coming apart here. Now, as you can see, the cape is soaked, which, you know, the handful of times I've had these McFarlane wired capes in hot water, they seem to hold up, but you have to, you know, be cautious, because, you know, there is a wire in here, and we don't want to tear up any of that cloth and expose the wire. But yeah, just like the Strange Lives Superman. Oh, look at that. This one coming right off. There we go. Look at this. I want to be very careful right here not to leave any plastic, but look at that. It's coming right off, and oh, we see there's like a little, kind of like a little tab there keeping that together, but the cape can come right off. So that is gonna make for well, if you were just swapping capes, that'd be really, really simple to do. Let's kind of look how this is engineered. Yeah, I got a little bit of a tab into that neck, and it would plug back into that. Now I'm trying to see, I think if I leave it in the hot water, I don't have to like snip that part right there. You see that where the skin is connecting to the torso? I think maybe with heat, that'll come out as well. So we're gonna drop that back into the water. Let's swap out bodies. Let's see if this one, so this one didn't come apart that easy. So we're still gonna have to work at this one just a little bit. I'm using my hands now just to keep from like snipping any plastic I don't want to with that that blade. Let's see. I don't want to force anything, so what we're gonna do is actually I'll take the Silver Age Superman back out, and I'm gonna reheat my water so it's back to maximum temperature, and we'll try again. So we'll cut to that now. All right, let's take them back out of the water again, and let's see what we can do. See if this neck is gonna start coming all the way off. Yeah, it's getting close, getting close. I can probably pull the neck and get the cape out of the way. Yeah, because I do want to go ahead and get the, oop, we lost an arm. Extreme heat will do that, but that'll pop right back in. Let's see if I can at least get the cape off so it can start drying. And still need a little bit of the neck to come off the front there. So I'm just gonna slowly keep working at it. It was a surprise how easy it was on the Silver Age Superman, but I'm gonna have to get up under it with this tool. Start working just very gently and very, very slowly working at it right there. See if I can come at it from the other side. There we go. There must have been a lot more glue on this one than the other Superman. Put him back in the water. Let's look at this Superman now. Let's see if it can. It looks like we're going to have to cut that. I'm going to pull on it just a little bit, see if it'll just kind of separate on its own. See that? That's the plastic stressing right there. But even if we have a little bit of plastic left, we'll still be able to cut that out, and then we'll just have to super glue the neck back in to secure it. Yeah, we're slowly getting there. Pulling on it just a little bit. Okay, we almost got it. See, I'm okay with the plastic that's going to be covered up kind of being torn, as long as the plastic here up on the exposed neck is not getting torn. Yeah, and these arms do not like being in the heat. I'm going to go ahead and set them in the water just a little bit longer, and we'll try one more time. The key to all this is patience. You don't want to just rip something apart just with brute strength. It's best to take it slow. This guy again, we're almost there with this one. Yeah, it's starting to tear there, but that's gonna be okay. We're just gonna see what happens. There we go. So there's a small little space the extra plastic goes in, but here's the neck. So probably what I'll end up doing is just cutting that extra plastic off, and then I'll sit flush back on the body, but actually on the other body. So we got that one, and I'm gonna just keep working at the other one and try to save some time. And once I get them both completely off, we'll go from there. All right, so I finally got both necks off, and I don't know if we can really see. Let me try to get as much light on that as possible. Don't know if we're going to be able to see in there, but there was so much more glue on this neck than the other one. And so when you're doing this at home, results may vary just depending on how much glue each of these figures had. This one barely had any. It was easy to do. This one was a little tougher, but we finally got it off. Kind of came off pretty clean right there. There's just a little bit of extra plastic now. Zoom in on that. Just on that front lip, just kind of on the under part. I'm gonna sand that down, and it should be. And I'm gonna cut the extra little piece off of that one, and we should be able to get the neck swapped. I'll make sure to put the neck pegs back in. We'll get the arms back on. We need to swap out the wrist pegs too, but we'll go ahead and start doing all that. All right, so while I have the capes drying, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the placement of the neck. So went ahead, swapped the wrist pegs and the hands for this guy. And what I made sure to do was to sand down any excess glue that there was on the bottom of this neck, because now we'll be able to place that in there, stick it down, and it is, look at that, perfect placement. And because it can still peg in there, it's actually quite sturdy. You probably won't even need glue for this. So that's the way it looks, and there's still going to be some space to get that cape in there, but I just wanted to take time while those capes are drying to show you that. Now we can do that with this body as well. Now this one, a lot more glue residue on that, so I might need to keep hitting that with the sandpaper. But let's try one more time. Let's see if we can force it on there. You know what? Not gonna quite fit, so I need to keep getting glue residue off of that, and then we'll be able to get that on there. We'll be able to get the capes on there. Now, you will notice I hadn't put the wrist pegs on there because, of course, they'd be these darker blue wrist pegs, and that's not gonna work. So what I'm actually gonna do is I thought about, well, I do have, I'm not even sure where these came from, but I did have some skin tone pegs that I thought might work. But they're not quite. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to take the 78 Christopher Reeve Superman, who has the baby blue wrist pegs, and the blues are very close. I actually feel like the wrist peg is closer to this than that. Anyway, I'm going to swap the wrist pegs onto the blue ones onto this guy, and this skin tone pretty close to Christopher Reeve, and I think that would look better since that's got a little bit of a cuff design there on the sleeve. I think the skin tone wrist pegs work better anyway. So that's one of the little things I'm going to swap, but we're going to fast forward to the finished product on these guys. One more thing I'm going to show y'all is placing the cape on here, which is, self-explanatory, but I just still want to get it on camera. As you can see, it fits all the way around that. You want to kind of get it, make sure it's as tucked down as much as you can get it, and then you can take the neck and you just place it in that tab there, and Boom, that is what it looks like. Now, ideally what you're gonna wanna do is have a little bit of glue there and kind of hold that in place to make sure the cape stays in place, that the neck doesn't ride up, everything stays secure, and you eliminate as much of that gap as you can, which really on the darker bodysuit you can't really tell, but that's putting the cape on. But let me go ahead and get the head back on, get the cape on the other guy, and we'll compare them. All right, so here's our two Supermen now. We have the Silver Age with the darker blue now, and the Strange Lives in the lighter blue with the shorter cape, and I'm very pleased with how these turned out. This is now my favorite Superman. This is definitely my definitive look for Superman, until another Superman comes out and I want to swap them. The cool thing is I didn't super glue this one back down. I did on this one, but say I get that Jokerized Superman, or I get that 90s Superman, and I want that body instead, I can just use the same process and swap out the necks, swap out the wrist pegs. Speaking of wrist pegs, the Superman 78 blues, not 100% match, but like 95% match. Like, I don't know unless you're like super close if you can even tell that those wrist pegs are different. And now on Christopher Reeve over here, skin tone, pretty close, not as close as a match as these blues, more of like an 80% match. But the problem is they're really loose, so I'm gonna have to put some sticky tack or some electrical tape around the peg to get those to work. And you know what, while I'm still on the topic of wrist pegs, I did want to share something about the new Superman movie, Superman. Of course, a lot of people were disappointed that this guy didn't come with two fists. He only had he had a grip hand and the fist and then the flight hands. Well, I've realized that with a lot of these McFarlane figures, that Jazzware's AEW wrestling figures actually work pretty well. Their peg looks like this, if y'all can see that, and they work really well with a lot of the Multiverse figures. I'm trying to maneuver around my camera there, but these actually pop in and out really well. So if you're looking for a fist for this guy, try some wrestling figures, some AEW Jazzware figures, and you might be able to have some for that Superman. But back to these two guys, I am very happy, very pleased with how this came out. And of course, with this guy, we still have the lion head. We have that big brainiac looking head on that other one. So a lot of cool things. I'm not 100% sure if I'll keep this guy. He may end up on my Mercari page, might sell him, but I am very happy with this Superman. So hopefully this tutorial video hadn't been too long. It was a long process for me, but I know a lot of that I hopefully have cut down. But it's really a thing about patience. It's not, difficult, on paper, but it does take time, does take patience. But you can swap these parts pretty easily, just depending on how much glue is under there. But guys, I want to know what y'all think about this fix-up, this kit bash, this part swap. Is this something that you think would be worth doing for yourself? Do you like the way this Superman looks now? Do you like the way this one looks now? I want to know what your favorite Superman, DC Multiverse Superman is in the comments below. And as always, guys, I just want to thank y'all for supporting me by liking and commenting on these videos. And I just want to say, hey, if you got anything going on in your life, you can always leave a prayer request in the comments below, because I read every comment, try to respond to every comment, and I'll definitely be praying for you if something's going on, or if you just need someone to listen to you here on the internet. I just want this to be a safe community for us action figure collectors, and that's my one way of saying thank you to those who subscribe, like, share, comment on these videos. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning in and checking out this video. Can't wait to show you the plethora of other action figures I'm working on slowly but surely. But thanks, guys, for supporting me. Recently made it to the 3,000 subscriber mark, so that's a pretty cool milestone. And hopefully during this fall, going into winter, I'll be able to crank out more videos. But until then, guys, I want to hear what you think about these Superman, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Talk to you later. Peace.